It's the vlogging Colonel. This is the Colonel's vlog. Welcome, everyone. It's Derby Day here in Kentucky, Louisville. It's crazy out there, man. So, I figured I'll sit here and do a cigar review. If you recall, the other day, we went out and grabbed a Fuente. This is the double Chateau, but it's in an Ecuadorian sun-grown wrapper and a Dominican filler and binder. And I believe the sun-grown wrapper is the Colorado variety, but I'm not entirely sure on that. But if I can cover my face. There she goes. A Fuente. Sure, I pronounce every name, so at this point I don't even care anymore. I don't even try. But beautiful cigar. Comes in a cedar tube with a black ribbon on the foot. Keep that off of there. Now, a lot of people are like, why do they have the cedar wrapper on there? Well, there's a number of reasons. One's the most obvious is just protection, extra protection. The second thing is getting parts of flavor and aroma to the cigar during the aging process, which some people really like. Some people don't like quite so much. I am in the middle when it comes to the extra cedar flavor and aroma. But, I mean, it's certainly not offensive. But, and I'm going to do another video with one of these at some point. Not the same cigar, but with the cedar. A lot of people just take it and throw it away. But what you've got is call it a spiel. You can take that, kind of crunch it down, fold it over a couple of times. And I like to do half of one, half on the other. Get about halfway through and break it off. Got one. It's more of just a backup. Kind of more of a novelty thing, I guess, although some people swear by it. But what you can do is you can light your tobacco with the cedar spills. Got a Zyderkoff. Love this thing. Had it for a while now. Still going strong. Get in there. Just the tip. As close as you can get to the tip. And quick, decisive. Get to self-sharpen it. Pretty decent cut on there. Anyway. Definitely kind of smells like baking spices. Probably a lot to do with the cedar wrapped around it. It smells strongly of cedar for the most part. But here's what you can do. It's kind of fun. I rarely do this with these, but figure I'll demonstrate. You know, it's another way to light a cigar. Get your spill going. And just like a little lighter, kind of above the flame. Keep it rolling around. Now you have to kind of rotate your spill so that it doesn't go out. And it toasts your cigar. As you can see, it burns fast. And they do have a tendency to go out quicker. I like to toast my cigar for a good long while. But I mean, it's toasted. It's technically ready for a light. Gonna give it a little more toasting though here. There's another method to that that's even more fun. Don't advise it, but it's fun. But I'll show you that in a future video. Once you got your toast, checking for a good consistent burn. Nice orange cherry all the way around. Don't want any black spots. I can't love on you right now, cat. Look at that. What is this? What is that? What the heck? Look at that. Disgusting creatures. Right off the light up. Got a definite, still kind of a baking spice. Some of the pre-light smells similar to the flavor I'm getting. Some definitely got obviously a cedar woody flavor. That Ecuadorian sun-grown. I mean, look how beautiful that is too. Just that oily, veiny wrapper. Love it. It's a really good looking cigar. Hope it burns good. Never had one of these. I've had Fuente. I've just never had this particular variety. I'm not picking up quite as much spice off of that Ecuadorian sun-grown as I kind of expected there to be. They tend to be a little bit on the spicier side, not overwhelming, but just there, present. It has a very clear baking spice flavor. Kind of nutmeggy, almost like pumpkin spice. Just a nice light spice on the retrohale. A little bit of a light pepper. I was expecting more on the spice. But with this, I'm going to keep it simple today. Some Old Forester. Nothing fancy today. There's plenty of people right now out in Churchill Downs doing all the fancy for me, so I don't have to. I just want to pour a tiny little tasty poo. Just enough to get a little bit of the flavor. Get some tasting notes off of it. Don't want to overdo it with the liquor. Got to be able to pass a breathalyzer. So, just going to go up in the air and just see if this is a good match or not, you know? Go ahead and try that Kentucky bourbon. I like Old Forester. It's one of my favorites. It's a regular go-to bourbon. Just a very distinct sweetness to this. Underneath there is a little of that barnyard musk that I like. It's very minimal. It's just right underneath all of the cedar and the kind of pumpkin spice. Now the spice is ticking up a little bit right now. Might be burning into a richer vein of this sun-grown. Burn's doing all right. I didn't do the best job using those spills, getting it nice and toasted. But a good cigar should reasonably self-correct, and if not, just touch it up a little bit. Ain't no shame in it. Just keep it kind of an even burn going on it. Just kind of rotate it around. Just hitting the high side of it. Not a whole lot of smoke coming off of it. Although the draw feels nice. Still on the bacon spices. Cedar, sweet. Pepper has elevated. If the pepper started as a 3 or 4, it's up at around a 4 or 5 now. I do prefer spicier cigars. Not getting a whole lot more than that so far. I can't get almost kind of like a Granny Smith apple. Not every time, but it's kind of what it reminds me of. Kind of a sharp, crispy, apple, like Granny Smith apple. There's something there that I haven't been able to put into words yet. When they come, I will share them with you. Well, I do have some cool cigar reviews coming up. I went ahead and did this one because we selected this on the vlog the other day for our next review. I haven't even put this in the humidor. It's just been in the plastic bag that they give you down there at Cox. It's almost like a cherry, almost like a cherry pie. That's that flavor that's kicking in. And I'm not getting the pumpkin spice as much now. It's literally got kind of a cherry pie sweetness. Like that tart cherry. I thought that was Granny Smith, but it's like a tart cherry. That's interesting. I don't know if I've really tasted cherry before in a cigar. Not bad though. I had check out the burn now. It's kind of cattywampus, as they say down in my neck of the woods. I don't mean the angle of the burn. I mean the cigar ash kind of comes up and goes over to the side. That's what we call cattywampus. But as you can see, it's still trying to run on one side here. It's not bad, but if it doesn't self-correct, it'll need some correction here real soon. And that's probably why you don't really use the spills. More of a novelty thing. Definitely in cherry pie territory right now. Spice back down to a 3 or 4 from a 4 or 5. Cedar's still there. A slight bit of a leathery note. I haven't really picked up much of any sort of boldness or complexity. I mean, this to me, so far, is it's a medium, maybe a little less than medium. If 1 is light and 10 is bold, this is probably a 4 right now. Just not much going on with the smoke. And I'm still not getting a good draw. Now what you can do, especially if you start, by just cutting off the tip and leave you some headroom on there, you can go back down there. Sometimes just shave a little bit off. Don't use somebody else's lighter when you're or cutter when you're cutting your wet cigar tip. Just open it up a little more. I don't like doing that because that can start a unwinding process down there. That opened up a little bit. I got some smoke going now. But that ash already fell off just naturally. Not surprised. I mean, look at the shape of it. I almost feel like what I should do here, the way this thing is going, Just kind of relight it. Shape it up, relight it. Now when it pyramids like that, see how it's got the center of it's kind of poking up like a pyramid? That can be a number of things. One, it can be you just didn't quite get it lit enough. Although it looked well lit. I like to toast pretty long when I'm lighting a cigar. Significantly more than I just did on this one. Getting distracted with those cedar spills. But the pyramid burn typically means you're trying to smoke it too fast, and you're burning down the edges where the ring of fire is, and that center filler, which is denser, more moist, can't keep up. So a couple of ways you can do like I did there, add some more heat to it, really get that inside going, or just, you know, kind of slow down your roll. I am a faster smoker. Cutting that did help. I did open it up a little bit. This is not a smoking jacket. This is a bathrobe. It looks beautiful outside. It's a little bit chilly, and I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt, so I figured, hey, I'll throw on a little robe. But it kind of looks like a smoking jacket, so if I hadn't said anything, you would have never known. God, just blew it, didn't I? And speaking of smoking jackets, a filmmaker friend of mine, I won't mention his name here because I don't know if he wants to be mentioned, invited me the other night to an event down at the Galt House Derby event. Got to spend the evening with him and his lovely wife, and hang out and smoke cigars with Michael Knowles, who was, not to get political here, of course, but he's kind of a big conservative commentator. But it was not a political event at all, because in addition to that stuff, he has his own cigar line, Mayflower cigars. I bought an entire box, and we're going to do a review on that at some point. But that same friend also gave me a Cuban cigar. I just said, I think 1 or 2 cigar reviews ago, that I've never had, to my knowledge, a Cuban cigar. And voila, one appears not 3 days later. And it is spending some time conditioning in my humidor right now. Getting ready. Now, look at this. Look what's happening on that foot. I don't know if you can see that. Now, that is not the cut right there. That calls that. I'll get back up here. I'm up here. That's not the cut. That is poor construction or bad humidity. Again, I did say that I haven't put this in the humidor. We bought this, 3 days ago. Now, it has been next to my humidor in the bag, and that's in a more temperature controlled area. But that foot is gnarly. Not the foot, the cap. That is gnarly. That's not good. That's the entire. That's not the cap. That's above the cap. The wrapper coming apart there. I don't know if you can hear that. I got one little crunch out of it. Now I can't. Now it feels soft and spongy. If you squeeze on it a little bit and if it's crunchy, typically put it in the humidor. Let it, you know, gain some of its moisture back. But this, I mean, nothing about this. Like now it's nice and spongy. I don't know if I was just, I don't know. Well, there's a big thick vein running through here. Maybe I just kind of squeezed into that, and that's where that sound came from. But you should be able, as the rule, if you're not like in, you know, the desert or out in the sunlight, leave it in your car or something like that, you should be able to bring a cigar home from the humidor. And they come with these, you know, kind of like pencil bags from school, thick. If you have one of those and you have your cigars in there, they should last a few days if the humidor is good where they're being stored. Like a day or two sitting in the bag and, you know, not in the direct sun, not in your car, just, you know, in a temperature regulated house should not, you know, cause your cigar to dry out or anything like that. And this was not left in the car or anything. But at the Galt House event the other day with Mayflower, Michael Knowles, and all that, we did meet a local tobacconist. Not local. He's right out of Louisville, not too far away. Maybe not even an hour from here. And he invited us to come down and check out the shop. And he says he's got one of the biggest ones. So we'll make a vlog of that when we go do that. I'll take you guys down there with me. So we've got more cigar content coming. I've noticed on the channel people really enjoy the cigar content. I enjoy smoking cigars. So we do have plenty more coming. I still haven't gone. Now hold on. Now I'm getting more of that kind of raisiny toast flavor, which I enjoy. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Can you see that? Now that is splitting above the cap. And that is a humidity problem there. I don't believe that is construction. I believe that is humidity. Might have left it in the bag a little bit too long. It's not bad. I peeled that off. I'm not going to smoke down there anyway, so. As long as it doesn't continue. But raisiny toast coming in. More barnyard musk. Love it. A little bit of that cherry pie still in there. There's a real pleasant sweetness to this cigar. And I don't know where that's coming from. Again, this is Ecuadorian sun-grown on the wrapper. I don't think are known for being sweet so much as spicy. And then it's a Dominican binder and filler. Still cedar wood. No hickory or oak or anything like that I'm picking up. Leather's kicking up a little bit. spice. It's like kind of a black pepper, really kicking up. And if it was started as a 3 or 4, it's bumped up to a solid 5 now on that. And the boldness of it, it's more like straight down the middle now. It's a 5. It's not light. It's not bold. It's just right there in the middle. There is some improvement on the ash quality and burn line here. It's not great. You can see a lot more darkness, like the black patches in there. It's a pleasant cigar. It's a pleasant smoke. I'm going to get another one and drop it in the humidor for a while and give it a more fair shot. Not on the review. This will be the review. But after I do, I'll let you know kind of how that came out. That foot again. Not the foot. The cap. I keep calling it the wrong end. But it's trying to unravel here. And really right now the only thing kind of holding it together down there on that bottom end is the cap. The cap is solid. The cap is still structurally sound. It's just everything going on right above it starting to become a problem. It's a problem. It's becoming a problem. It's not so much a problem for me because I'm a redneck. If I can light it and it'll catch on fire, I'll figure out how to smoke it. I'm going to ash that though. You can see that pyramid inside part is hot now. It's red hot, which is also evidence that I'm just chiefing a little too hard on it because it is lit in there. And based on what I'm seeing with this wrapper, that the outside has dried out a little bit too much. So it's burning hot on the rim, on the outside, on the wrapper and the binder. The filler is still nice and moist. And so we're getting that. Cigars really are an art form. They really are. There's something that's it's an enjoyable process to me, even when it goes wrong, because you're always kind of learning and gaining like new tips and tricks. And this is probably the sweetest cigar that I've had. That's not an aromatic or anything. There's no art. This is not an aromatic. There's no sugar on here. It's not a Drew Estate, one of those like fat bottom Betties or something like that, or acids. This is just straight up premium, high grade tobacco. But it is pleasantly sweet. The smoke is relatively thin. It's not a thick smoke. The finish is really mainly the cedar. And it has a lingering finish. That's pleasant, very pleasant. I'm not picking up any bitterness. I think the construction is really great on this, and I think that this is kind of deceiving because I should have put this in the humidor. I realize now. They might have just had in fact, as I recall. I might have got this right out of the box at like a day or two after they put that in the humidor, and it didn't even have time to condition there, you know. So I might be dealing with some shipping humidity issues, as well as the fact that I then just left it in the bag for a while. I should have dropped a little Boveda in there. You know, bird's kind of gnarly. But to me, the most important thing about a cigar is the flavor. And on that end of it, this is a very pleasant, very medium mid-range cigar. It looks dark, you know. That's a myth with cigars. A lot of people say if it's dark, it's, you know, it's on the really bold end of flavor, you know, more bitterness, more of the leather and espresso forward, you know, oak, that sort of thing. But that is not true. And there are some light wrap cigars that are very bold. Because again, what you see on the outside is only the smallest, thinnest layer of your flavor profile. All the real flavors there in the middle and in the binder. The wrapper serves more as a like the kick, like like a subtle, kind of like a garnish on a drink. And it does matter a lot. And if you're curious about that, you know, the ring gauge of a cigar is just the circumference of it. Just call it ring gauges. But if you ever want to do a little test on your favorite, if you have a stick that you really like, you know, they'll come in different sizes. And what you can do is try the smallest ring gauge, the medium ring gauge, and the fattest ring gauge that they have. And the less filler there is, so the more narrow, the smaller ring gauges, you get a lot more by ratio of the wrapper and the binder, and less of the filler. And that will really show you what the wrapper brings to the table on your cigar. Because you can have the exact same cigar in a different ring gauge and get quite a different experience. You will get the same notes, but the ratio of those flavor profiles are going to be different. And if you have a cigar you really like, and you try the different ring gauges, you might find that there's one that has that thing that you really enjoy the most in a bigger ratio. Might be a smaller ring gauge, might be a bigger one. If what you really are enjoying is the binder and wrapper, the smaller ring gauge is going to bring that out. And if what you really are enjoying is down there in the filler, a bigger ring gauge is going to bring more of that out. But for the cigar reviews, I prefer just to kind of, I believe this is a Churchill. Cigars in general, I enjoy just that mid-range ring gauge, like 60 to 65. Because I think with those you're getting kind of the balanced flavors that the cigar maker is going for. You're kind of getting the best representation of their intended flavor profile. There's a lot more chocolate now. It's a chocolate note. Still cedar base. Still a little bit of barnyard musk. And then the kind of a raisiny toast, chocolate raisiny toast. A little bit of leather. I'm not picking up any of that cherry pie anymore. Or that tart cherry. The spice has leveled back down, probably to about a 4. This would be a great beginner cigar for somebody that hasn't smoked, that, you know, you don't want to just give them like an Ashton or something. You want to give them something more substantial. The complexity is mid to low, with the exception of kind of the bouncing of the cherry pie versus the raisiny toast. I'm not getting a whole lot of different notes than what I started with. It's more of just like the levels of all the notes have changed. So the spice has gone up, the sweet's gone down, blah, blah, blah. Well into the middle third here. The pepper is very light. It's spicy, but it's like a white pepper, mild pepper. Still some, I'd call it baking spices, which is kind of the term I use when it's hard to really determine, as opposed to like nutmeg. It's by no means a spice bomb, though. Which I was expecting this to be a kind of a spicy cigar. And it is. I mean, it does have spice, but I thought that was kind of going to be a lot more forward and bold. That's that was where that peak was forming, and it self-corrected, and now there's like a piece of the wrapper. It just kind of sitting there baking. But it did self-correct, so I didn't do that. That just, that's what a good cigar will do. And it's got solid construction. Even if it starts to run, it will usually pick up. Still got that issue at the end, but it's not grown worse yet. Luckily, when it's down here, you just kind of can hold it with your finger and just keep it in place. But I feel like it's mellowing out as I get into this, about halfway through the middle third here. Or maybe a third of the way through the middle third. But yeah, I'm really excited. The Mayflower cigar, well, I'm not going to say anything about them because I'm going to do a review. So we'll save that for the review. Plus, I've only smoked 2 of those cigars. One was at the event. And when you're smoking out like that, and you're with other people and you're talking and all that, To me, I don't really get as much out of a cigar. It's more of a kind of a prop, you know. You're talking, you got social, I have social anxiety to a certain degree, all that sort of stuff. And I'm just like sitting there, you know, burning through it. But I did smoke one last night on the porch out here. Really enjoyed it. And I can't wait to get into that Cuban. Thank you. You know who you are. If you want me to mention you by name, I will when we do that review. But being as it is a Cuban cigar, it did come through legitimate means. This is a reputable person, international traveler, who obtained it legally. But I'm excited to try that one. I have no pre-existing opinion about it because I have never had experience with it. So I've only heard what people say, and people say everything under the sun when it comes to everything. So I will judge for myself. My camera's getting ready to lose a little bit of its juice. I got to juice it up a little bit here so we don't go out now. Hang still, you might fall when I start plugging this in. If I can plug it in. There's the plug on it. I don't even know. Oh, I still got enough life. Vlog's almost over. Getting pretty low here. But the Fuente double champagne, I guess that's what it's called, champagne. I don't fucking know. Excuse me for the French. But this will be going into my collection. This will not be the last one I smoke. This would be great. This is just a great kind of midday, mid-afternoon. You could smoke it in the evening too. Heck, you could smoke this in the morning with a cup of coffee if you like your coffee black. But very enjoyable, I have to say. No change right now in the flavors. Spice is just bouncing back and forth between a 4 and a 5.5, maybe. Right now it's kicked back up a little bit. I'm wondering if that's coming from the... Well, I know spice does come from the Ecuadorian wrapper. I'm going to peel this band off. But these are veiny. These are veiny wrappers. And I'm wondering if like that, as it's falling through those veins and getting like thicker pieces, if that's where you're, you know, when that spice ticks up or not. I don't know. I would recommend this to somebody that's not been into cigars and wants to kind of get into it. And you don't want to just go for the, you know, the standard, let's get a Connecticut, an Ashton, or something like that, or a Perdomo 10-year, which are great cigars, by the way. I mean, this is not overpowering. The smoke is, at this point, it's medium. And I'm not talking about the boldness. I just mean like the thickness of the smoke. As I mentioned earlier, it was thin. And that might have had to do with the poorer draw I was getting before I recut it. but it's not like a super thick smoke. The finish is not like a really long finish, but it's a very flavorful finish. And the finish is after you smoke it, and the lingering aromas on your tongue and the palate. So it's generally considered the finish. It's what you're tasting when you're not actually smoking it. Some cigars, you take a hit, and that will linger on your tongue and in your mouth, you know, for a long time. It's a long finish. And some will kind of air out very quickly, and you know, your palate almost feels cleansed again. This is in the middle. Getting a lot more cedar notes coming through. Leather and chocolate are more pronounced now. The baking spices are hidden now behind the leather, and maybe even a little bit of coffee espresso. But now definitely getting more of the cedar, leather, a little bit of chocolate, dark chocolate. But the sweetness still persists. No real bitterness. Great on the palate. Smooth on the retrohale. Just, you know, it's got spice, but it's not overwhelming. Pick this stick up. Give this one a try. Now, if you're a aficionado, if you're a long-time smoker, and you kind of know what you want, and what you want is a big, complex, you know, ever-evolving cigar, this does not have that. And this stick that I'm smoking right now, it's been pretty consistent, like I said, keeping the same flavor profiles largely, and just kind of up and down. The biggest transition was the first half, where there was it was heavy on the baking spices and kind of the pumpkin pie, and then cherry, and now it's gone into the darker end. I think I'll get a box of these. That's how decent it is. Not great, but this is one of those sticks I could see myself reaching for. But I'm not looking for like a super bold Maduro, which is, you know, my typical flavor profile. And I'm not huge on Connecticut's. I do enjoy them. You know, I keep a box of Ashtons, maybe mainly for, you know, people that, you know, don't really smoke, to give them. But you can't really go wrong with what I'm having here. Really enjoyable. Old Forester goes nice with it as well, because Old Forester is also, it's kind of a little bit fruity, but it's not a super bold. But it's I call it syrupy. That's not really a great term for it. Kind of a thicker bourbon, which on the thinner smoke is a great contrast. So, you know, the other day I thought that what were we smoking the other day? Wasn't the Avo? I don't remember what it was. But I was drinking that with the Castle and Key, and thought, oh, it's going to be good with Old Forester. It was not. Kind of canceled it out. Almost made the Old Forester taste like I was drinking just like maybe some medicine water. But with this, the bourbon Really mixes nicely. Just a sippy poo. A little peak on the back, but the burn is evened out a good bit. Solid construction. Even the end down there where it was, somehow that just self-healed. It's no longer split down there. Yeah. Derby's about to start any minute now. I don't know what time it is. It's going to start in a couple of minutes. So I'm going to go watch the Derby and call this review done. Buy you one of these. It's good. This is the Arturo Fuente Double Chateau. So it's Chateau, not champagne. Figure. Sun-grown. Arturo Fuente Double Chateau sun-grown. You'll enjoy this, most likely. And with that, this review is going into the ashtray. I'm going to go bet on a horse. Love you guys.